You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, home of Braves country with Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on The Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99, WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Hey, sports fans, The Key has a brand new show, Braves Country, coming your weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We'll be talking the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball, along with everything important to sports fans in Braves Country. The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the National Football League, and the big sports news of the day. That's Braves Country with Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE The Key, 99.1 FM, and simulcasting on youtube.com/at Braves Country.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Magee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball.
Winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hey, sports fans. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive Time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Major League Baseball on Friday. Remember tonight, Braves Country HD will bring you Braves versus Royals. Pitch by pitch, play by play, 8:10 first pitch. We'll have the action pregame 7:30 Eastern. Tonight at 6:40, it's the Phillies at Reds, Walker and Overton head to head. New York Mets are going out west to face the Oakland A's. Kodai Senga and the Ghost Fork versus James Capps and the Oakland A's. Also at 6:40, the Diamondbacks are at the Marlins. Rogers and Bumgarner going head-to-head. Apple TV Plus has the Giants and Tigers at 6:40, and the Angels and Red Sox, Hoke versus Sandoval. At 7:05, Guardians at the Nationals. Twins at the Yankees. At 7:07, Rays are in Toronto to face the Blue Jays. Orioles begin their 3-game set in Chicago against the White Sox, Wells versus Clevenger. Rangers and Astros at 8:10. The Pirates are at the Cardinals. Brewers and Padres continue tonight. Peralta versus Waka. And the Cubs are out on the left coast to face the Dodgers. Justin Steele and Noah Syndergaard. The Rockies and Mariners, late pitch as well, 10:10 Eastern, Gomber versus Gonzalez. In the association, it's the last of the play-in games. 7 o'clock Eastern on TNT, Bulls versus Heat. Heat trying to stave off elimination. They became the first number 7 seed to lose and face elimination as they do tonight. At 9:30 Eastern, it's the Thunder at the Timberwolves. That game can be seen on ESPN. National Hockey League is getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs, which will begin on Monday. Tonight, they're finishing up the regular season. Avs at Preds at 8, Sabres at Blue Jackets at 7:30. Both are available on the 4-Letter Plus. The Dallas Mavericks have been fined $750,000 by the NBA for, quote, conduct detrimental to the league after an investigation into the franchise's decision to sit several key players for the April 7th loss that eliminated the team from playoff contention. The NBA commenced an investigation the day after the Mavs rested all-star guard Kyrie Irving, shooting guard Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Christian Wood, Maxi Kepler in the 115-112 loss to the Chicago Bulls. All-star guard Luka Doncic played the first 12 minutes before leaving the game. Before the game, Coach Jason Kidd cited, quote, organizational decision, attributing what happened to the Mavs owner, Mark Cuban, and GM, Nico Harrison. From the league, quote, Dallas Mavericks' decision to restrict key players from fully participating in an elimination game last Friday against Chicago undermined the integrity of the league. The Mavericks' actions failed our fans and our league, unquote, from Joe Dumars, NBA Executive Vice President, Head of Basketball Operations. The Mavs owe a top 10 protected pick to the New York Knicks as the final payment for the Kristaps Porzingis trade made in 2019. The loss to the Bulls broke a tie between the teams for both 10th best odds in the draft lottery. Dallas protected those odds with a season-ending 138-117 loss to San Antonio, a game which Doncic, Irving, and the vast majority of the Mavs' regular rotation did not play. Cuban was fined $600,000 in 2018 for publicly admitting that the Mavericks were tanking. Cuban also admitted that Dallas tanked in 2017, saying after that season on the Dan Patrick Show that the Mavs, quote, did everything possible to lose games, unquote. And the San Francisco Giants have reached a 5-year, $90 million extension with right-handed pitcher Logan Webb. The extension will take him through the 2028 season. In 2022, Webb went 15-9 with a 2.9 ERA, 163 strikeouts, over 192 innings. Webb will make 8 this year, 12 in 25, 23 in 26, and 27, $24 million in 28. The deal buys out 3 free agent years, as Webb had been scheduled to become a free agent after the 2025 season. Philadelphia Phillies' Bryce Harper is working out at first base in an attempt to speed his recovery from Tommy John. Harper, usually an outfielder, approached Phillies president Dave Dombrowski with the idea. Harper, a 2-time NL MVP, was operated on last November, and Philadelphia projects him to return initially as a DH. Last week, Harper began taking on-field batting practice and said in March he could be back by the All-Star break. First baseman Rhys Hoskins will miss the entire season after tearing his ACL during a spring training game. Derek Hall, who started 5 of 6 games at first, had surgery Wednesday to repair a torn ligament in his right thumb and is projected to be sidelined for at least 2 more months. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Newnan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes.
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub cup. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live.
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
You're listening to Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here live weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. And simulcasting on YouTube.com/@BravesCountry. Your first choice for Southern sports. Good afternoon. I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Pretty excited about tonight's game. We get to see Vaughn Grissom again. It sucks that we lost Mr. Arcia, but Grissom heads back to the big show.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. Yeah, the armchair quarterback.
Yeah, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? It is about that time. It's TGI Friday. I hope y'all are having one hell of a Friday as we get ready for a pretty good sports weekend. I mean, we're talking about having the NBA playoffs beginning tomorrow in earnest with the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Braves are going to Kansas City to take on the Royals, and you can't take that lightly at all. I know it's really easy as a fan to take that lightly going into a game, into a series, because the Royals have not been what they were just a few short years ago when they were winning World Series and they were winning the AL pennant a couple of times. But you still got to win the games in front of you, and they become very crucial, I think, because you're talking about playing the Royals this weekend. Well, next weekend, we have to play the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. And in between that, we're going to be facing the Padres, who just kicked our butt up and down the field in Truist Park. We're going to be in San Diego next, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it would be nice to go out there and bare minimum, I want to see a series win. It would be great to get a sweep. It's so difficult to bank on that. And so we get ready for game number 1, and Vaughn Grissom is going to be rejoining the team. The Atlanta Braves announced this afternoon that Grissom, his contract was re-upped, repurchased, and he will be joining the Atlanta Braves this evening, and be interesting to see. Now, from what I have understand and what I've read, he's had a pretty good spring down there in AAA. He's actually had more walks than he's had strikeouts. That's offensively. What I haven't gotten is a lot of individual breakdowns on whether or not his defense has improved. And I guess we're just going to see that as we go along, right? You can't really expect anything else. I know he struggled in the spring with his defense. I can't imagine that it became leaps and bounds better in 2 weeks. But I think what the Braves would love is to have a guy out there who's not going to lose them the game defensively. And look, if you have to, if you feel like he's some kind of a liability, then you can do what I call Ozuna him and pull him for defensive purposes late in the game. Because the thing about Adrianza is that he can pick it, but he can't hit his weight. And Adrian's a really skinny kid. So the answer is not to have Adrian's out there every day. You're going to have to either give it Grissom and let him take this opportunity to run with it, or maybe Shoemake comes up later. But I'm hoping Grissom can run with it. And look, everyone thinks it's this easy thing to just transition. Well, just teach him how to play shortstop. It's not that easy. And not to mention the fact you're talking about one of, if not the most difficult position to play in all of sports. And there's no longer the shift. So you're no longer just camping out over there and waiting for a ball to get dribbled to you. Shortstop now, or is what the shortstop had been for well over 100 years, till about 4 or 5 years ago when everyone started overshifting. The shortstop is going back to what it was, which is a guy that has to have range. And the biggest thing I saw in spring training with his defense. I don't worry about him making the spectacular play. I'm not expecting Ozzie Smith. I'm not expecting Dansby Swanson, who was phenomenal defense. I'm not expecting Orlando Arcia, who's pretty darn good in his own right. You just don't want to see a liability out there. Orlando Arcia heads to the IL, and we hate to see that. They're calling it a microfracture. Whether that, we'll get a better timeline as this moves on. Microfracture could mean a bunch of things. He was put on the 10-day IL. But we'll see what the overall game plan is. The hope for Braves country, I think, is that Grissom plays phenomenally. Arcia comes back pretty quickly. And it's Adrianza who's out of a job. But anyway you look at it, they're going to try to piece it together at the shortstop position until it can get figured out. And tonight, you got Charlie Morton going for the Atlanta Braves. And you got a tough customer in Brady Singer going for the Kansas City Royals. And though the Braves are a slight favorite, I believe minus 125 on the win line is the last one that I saw. Though they're favored in Kansas City, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's just the betting public and their perception that the Braves are much better than the Royals. And top to bottom, we are. Top to bottom, we played the Kansas City Royals 7-game series. You expect to win it. But any given night, and you don't want to give away any of these games. Charlie Morton's got to clean some things up. He's pitched 10 innings. He's got a 4.35 ERA. That's not as concerning as the 1.94 whip. To give you an indication, if you're not familiar with what whip is, walks plus hit dividing by innings pitch, what's looked upon as phenomenal is anywhere around a 1. He's close to 2, so you're talking about twice that. Now, average would be around 115-ish, 120-ish, maybe even into the 130. But once you start creeping into the 1.4, 1.5 range, it becomes a concern, and we're talking about Charlie Morton at 1.94. His strikeout rate is down a little bit. He's got 10 innings pitched. He's only got 7 strikeouts. But the biggest concern of any of this, 5 walks. 5 walks. Now he's given up to 15 hits. So you can see there where he's had 20 honest base runners, as I call them, by hit or by walk in 10 innings, 10.1 innings, which is why the whip is just below 2, because it's 10.1 innings and not. If it was 10 innings, we'd be sitting here with a clean 2. Brady Singer, he's sitting there with 11 innings pitched, a 1.18 whip. He's averaging just under a hit an inning. He's only given up 3 walks in his 11 innings pitched. He has given up a home run. Charlie Morton has given up a home run. Their ERAs, Charlie Morton does have a little slider, lower ERA at 4.35 to Singer's 4.91. But all in all, and look, this beginning of the year, so I'm not going to sit here and kill Charlie Morton for having a slow start, just like you don't overlook the fact that Brady Singer's got good stuff and he's had a couple of tough starts. But this is where the veteran Morton, in a park that is, it plays about middle of the road. I wouldn't consider Kansas City Park a hitter or pitcher friendly park per se. It really depends on if the wind's blowing out. But this is a Kansas City Royals lineup that, let's be honest, lacks a lot of pop. Some of their better players, I was looking it up today, like Melendez, who everyone's very high on, he's batting 190 right now. So when you're looking at that, the kid that you're most worried about in this entire lineup would be Bobby Witt Jr. Shortstop, he can play some third base. Bobby Witt Jr., though he's only started the season out at batting .229 and 2 home runs, 6 RBI. He's got legitimate pop, but he's also a kid that Kansas City plans on building around for a long period of time. A guy who's been hitting for quite some time. He was a part of those championship teams behind the plate, Salvador Perez. He's a guy that you got to worry about. Now, he's not as athletic as he used to be, so a little slow on the base paths, but he can still put it over the fence. So if there's 3 batters that you want to focus on tonight, for me, it's Perez, Witt, and Melendez. But someone who everyone's very high on, he's off to a pretty good start. He's batting .293, 2 home runs, 4 RBI. I just haven't seen him play much. I've seen the other guys play quite a bit. Their first baseman, Pasquantino, that's where the bread is buttered in Kansas City. It's at top 4 in the lineup. After that, it gets a little dicey. So they don't have a real long lineup like the Atlanta Braves do. That's why I do expect us to win tonight. But Morton's got to come out there and pitch well and not give up the free passes, because that's how you get in trouble. You give up free passes to a meek lineup. Let's just call it what it is. It's a meek lineup. And the next thing you know, there's 2 or 3 guys on when the Witts or the Perezes or the Pasquantinos are up there and hacking away. The Braves, I believe, they should, right now going into tonight's game, I believe the over was 5.5 runs. I like the Braves to score of that. I'm going to call it, we'll say Braves win it tonight 7-3. I like that number, 7-3. I think the Braves do get the win. All right, let's take a quick break. Step aside for a second. When we come back, Bobby's with us, and we're going to talk the NBA playoffs. We've got the slow burn draft, all that, and Tones Areola on the way. Keep it locked in here on the Key, WQEE 99.1 FM. And Braves Country HD simulcasting on YouTube Live.
Try to stop smoking. That's a beauty, huh? Well, with cigarettes, my wife and I, we made a deal, my wife and I. We only smoke after sex. I got the same pack now since 1975. What bothers me is my wife. She's up to 3 packs a day.
We're down to 1 strike here. It's 0-2. Gurriel, the last hope for the Houston Astros. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Bounced over to Dansby. Dansby fires it over to first. And here comes the dog pile. Fire the cannons in the battery. Do the chop, baby. All throughout Braves country. Pop that top. Your Atlanta Braves have won it all. Hey, Braves Country. Braves Country HD is bringing you Braves Country Baseball. Braves Country comes to you every Tuesday night and Friday night, and 2 bonus games every week. Hi, I'm Mac McGee. We'll be bringing you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves. It's free to listen. Please like and subscribe. YouTube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country Baseball for the fans, by the fans.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes 1 free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
It must be true, 'cause I heard it on the radio. It must be true, it must be true.
Armchair.
Welcome back on a TGI Friday. That must mean the kid is with us, Bobby Schneider. Bobby, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to the real regular season in the NBA finally starting. I'm excited for that. Hopefully some good basketball.
Yeah, only 6 short months of preseason, and now we're ready to actually watch some basketball that counts. It's really phenomenal. I can't wait. Any interest in tonight's games?
I'll probably check in on them. I'll keep up with them a little bit. I'm not too pumped up for them, though, because I don't see either of these teams on either side beating the 1 seeds. I could see the Nuggets maybe getting caught like on a couple games, but I think they're going to roll, and I think the Bucks will too.
Yeah, to me, if they're going to get people involved in watching these, they're almost going to have to go NCAA tournament to the point of where, you know how in the NCAA tournament you'll have a couple of 11 seeds play each other, and the winner's going to play a 6, and you feel like that team's got a fighting chance to win, but the 16s are just being sent to the slaughter.
Yeah,
that's what this feels. It feels even worse when you're watching the NBA because it's a 7-game series, so it doesn't happen. We never see an actual upset. So it's just, honestly, to me, the playoffs don't even start till round 2.
Yeah,
but I'll keep an eye on them. I'll see if Atlanta can give Boston a hard time. There's a couple other series that. What's your favorite series?
My favorite series, or at least one of them, it might be my favorite overall, but Kings Warriors. That's one I've had my eyes on. With Wiggins coming back for the Warriors, they're getting a big boost. And the Kings, obviously, they had a great year, exceeded all expectations, but they're still a young team with very little experience.
Are they Denver 2.0, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
They have a good
this is
season,
going to be one of the closest series.
Playoffs.
Can you say that again?
Did they have a good season, but yet they'll get smeared in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think this series will be close, though. I see it going to 6 or 7 games. I think the Kings are a great team, but the Warriors have that championship experience. They still have a great roster, and I think they get it done.
I don't know if they're a great team, but I think they're a good, solid team that's working their way towards something. They're just
look, they're the defending champs, though, so I'm giving them a little bit of credit here.
The Kings?
No, the Warriors.
I know you called the Warriors.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you were.
The Kings are not a great team.
They're not. I think they're a good team.
They're going to have to win at least one series to even be considered a very good team in my book. The Warriors, to me, until I see them in trouble, I'm going to assume that they're going to win every series in the West until maybe they face the Suns. How does that set up? Are they set up to play the Suns in the second round, or
let me check.
Conference finals bound?
I'll pull up the bracket.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. I got 19 other things in front of me. I'm trying to remember what seed they are. I feel like Suns are the 4-5 games, so they'll play Denver.
Yeah, they shouldn't match up with each other. The Suns, the winner of Suns and Clippers, which in all likelihood is the Suns, they'll play the winner of the Nuggets and the winner of the Minnesota Oklahoma City game.
Now the NBA reseeds, though, right?
I don't believe so. No,
they used to.
They might. I might be mistaken on that.
I'll have to
Don't
check into
think
that.
they do though.
They used to reseed. They might have taken that out.
Yeah, it looks like they don't reseed anymore.
You have that in front of you?
Yeah, I just Googled it.
Okay.
Almost certain.
So regardless, Suns would not face the Warriors until the finals.
Mm-hmm. Or the Western Conference Finals.
So, the Nuggets should dust whoever runs. I think Minnesota probably gets the win tonight, but it's like you said, it doesn't really matter. They're going to probably get beat in 5 games. The Bucks are going to absolutely demolish whoever they play, whether it's the Bulls or the Heat. They're going to beat them. They're probably going to sweep whoever they play.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite series outside of the one you mentioned with Golden State, because I do like that one quite a bit. I mean, from a fan standpoint, it's Hawks Celtics, but
yeah.
As far as the series that I think could be one of the more intriguing ones to me, it's Cavs Knicks is the number one to me.
Yeah, I see that one going 6 or 7.
A very good chance of knocking off the Cavs. And if I was going to rank them, it would be Cavs Knicks. It would be. I'd probably put the Warriors at number 3, and I'd have Suns Clippers, because I do think the Clippers are going to give the Suns more than what they bargained for. I still believe Phoenix is going to outlast them, but the Clippers are playing a lot better than I expected to after they lost Paul George.
Yeah. I don't think the Clippers have much of a shot against the Suns. I think the Suns are the clear best team in the West. I think they're still undefeated with KD, right?
The clear best team in the West. So you think they're better than the Warriors as well?
Yes. Yeah, I think the Suns are going to roll. I think they'll go to the finals, no question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my call. Now, I might be off on this. I might be getting my hopes too high on them. But I really think the Suns, they're undefeated with KD, if I recall correctly. And the team's just loaded. They've been to the finals. They want to get back there. I know Chris Paul wants to get that ring before he retires. I think they do it this year. I think they get back, and I think they play the Celtics in the finals.
Maybe it's me pulling against the Suns, not wanting to see them there, because
I don't like the Suns either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan, but
I was never against the Suns until this trade, and it's really got nothing to do with the Suns being a super team or anything like that. That's not what irritates me. What irritates me is that KD quit on the Nets, just like Kyrie, just like James Harden. And though I'm by far anything close to being a New Jersey Nets fan, I just think it's bad for the fans of the NBA to see these prima donnas whine and cry and get their way, and then they get put in perfect situations like KD is with the Suns. And that would just be my biggest concern, is if they go on to win the whole shebang, it sends a really bad message to them.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I really hate how that situation played out with KD, because he signed like a 4-year extension with the Nets, didn't play a single minute on it, and still requested a trade. And he requested a trade to a specific team and got that. It's like, I get the players should have some say. I think that's important. But when you ink a 4-year deal and don't even play a minute on it, and then go and request a trade to one specific team, I don't like that.
I like what Danny Ainge did with
Gobert?
No, with the Jazz.
Yeah.
When he traded his name was
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell. Because Mitchell wanted out and he started whining and crying, and he wanted to go to New York, and Danny Ainge said, "Screw you, buddy. We're getting rid of you, but you're going to Cleveland."
And Ainge hasn't hesitated to get the best package for his players. I mean, you saw with Gobert, they got a ridiculous haul for him. They got several players and 4 first-round picks.
And then I haven't heard. Is he allowed to play in tonight's game?
I believe so. I believe he's back.
Okay.
I think it was a 1-game thing.
They gave a ridiculous package to get a guy who I think is a mid. He's a solid player, but he's not generational, and he's not going to change your championship fortunes to give up that much. I just thought Minnesota really reached.
Yeah, I mean, that's a decent. He's a great rim protector. I'll give him that. But he's not. He's pretty one-dimensional in that aspect, and they pretty much mortgage their future for him.
What about? I know it's not on the docket, but I saw it bust off this morning that the league has fined the Mavericks $750,000 for tanking. I don't know if you saw that or not. So my first thought process is the first thing I thought of. I don't think that's enough.
No,
$750,000 for Mark Cuban. Come on.
I mean that's a drop in the bucket. I think that's teams obviously tank. I mean, there's no question about that in the NBA today. But I guess with how the Mavs did it, it was pretty blatant.
Well, yeah, because it specifically referred to the April 7th game, which was last Friday, where they benched everybody. I think Luka played like 12 minutes, but all their other starters were benched.
Yeah.
To me, here's the thing. If you think a team is tanking, especially, you can't really enforce it if they're tanking in December and in January. But when they're in a situation where if they were to win, they would end up going to the playoffs. My take on that is you need to take away what their ultimate goal was, which was a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to hit them where it hurts, get them on the draft pick. Because the whole reason why, for folks who didn't follow this, the reason why they wanted to tank was because they had made a trade with the New York Knicks back in 2019, I think it was. This is a ridiculously long, slow play on this. But 2019, they made a trade with the Knicks, and they still owe a draft pick to the Knicks, but it is protected if it's outside the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And when they lost, it then put them into the top 10. And so the Knicks no longer get that pick. And the way I would have done it is I would have been like, sorry, dude, New York Knicks get your pick.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see how they'd enforce that and like actually have concrete proof that they were tanking. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but when you do it for the Mavs, though,
they benched a bunch of guys, but then B, there were comments after the game and in the pregame where their coaching staff talked about that it was an organizational decision above their heads on why the guys weren't playing. And that's a straight quote from Jason Kidd.
Yeah, that's a bad look then.
Yeah. And so I guess that's what my take is. $750,000 doesn't make up for the fact that the Knicks got jobbed out of a draft pick because they were honestly trying not to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there. I agree.
So anyways, we move on. You expecting any upsets in the playoffs in the first round?
I guess if it's a lower seed beating a higher seed, I'd count the Warriors over the Kings as an upset, but I don't think many people see that as an upset. Yeah. I'm looking more from a seeding perspective. I guess since the Warriors are the 6 against the 3, I don't know. That's the only lower seed I see beating a higher seed.
Yeah, that's the way I go by it is the series prices. When you look at, and they're a considerable favorite. When I'm looking at the Warriors, they're a minus 270.
I think that might be a bit of a stretch. I think it'll be a close competitive series.
Kings are a plus 230.
What's up?
They are considerable favorites, the Warriors. The one that I like the most that is actually an underdog would be the Knicks upsetting the Cavs. They're plus 170 right now.
I like that.
And I think that's got a serious I'm with you though. I don't think the Warriors should be a minus 270.
I think that's a little bit steep.
But that just tells you that there was probably a lot of money that came in on the Warriors, and they're trying to even it out, because if the Warriors do move on, and most people would think that they would, any way you look at it, The house is losing money. One of the more interesting ones to me that I think is a low price is why are the Grizzlies a minus 145 versus the Lakers? I feel like that they should be much higher.
I think the Lakers are playing good basketball right now, but I think a more favorable matchup for the Lakers would have been against the Nuggets. I'd actually have them beating the Nuggets if they went up against them, but I don't think they get past the Grizzlies.
I don't think the Lakers are very good. I watched that game versus Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota didn't have Gobert. They also didn't have the kid that broke his freaking hand going into the locker room. So they were down 2 of their main cogs. And I don't know if you stayed up and watched that game, and if you didn't, I understand it was a late ball game.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James looks slow and old. And I haven't watched a lot of Lakers this year because LeBron James makes my eyes hurt. But I watched that game, and I expected to see someone very close to what I've seen in the past.
Mm.
And this is the first time I really sat. Other than there was a Lakers-Celtic game back during the winter. I want to say that was around January, and I watched that game, and I thought LeBron looked pretty good. I don't know if he's coming off of something, what have you, but he was out of breath. He looked like he was lackadaisical, and this is a game that they needed to win. It wasn't like this was some random game in the middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
And I question whether or not in a 7-game series he's going to be able. The biggest thing that concerns me though with taking the Grizzlies is the maturity of Ja Morant, and will he be able to lead his team?
That's true. Yeah, that is true. And it's not even like an off the court thing. I think he'll stay out of trouble through the playoffs, but that locker room is very young, lack of maturity, obviously, with their best player. So you wonder how they're going to hold up if adversity starts to pile up.
Seems to me the Suns minus 450 seems a lot like a really high price to pay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking the Clippers in that series without the expectation that they'd win, but just because you'd get a good payout. But I think the Suns beat them.
Clippers are plus 350.
If you're confident in the Clippers, you can throw a little bit on it. I wouldn't expect to win anything, but wouldn't hurt.
I'll probably parlay it onto something because if you put that in there, the ones that I like the most, because I'm not putting like this, I'm not going to take the Celtics minus 1,200. You don't get any kind of a payback. There's no point in it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the 76ers are minus 1,000. But the Knicks intrigue me as a bet. The Kings and the Clippers as far as underdogs, and I would say I'm probably going to put something on the Grizzlies. Minus 145 to me is not a very high price to pay for a 2 seed going against a 7 seed.
Mm-hmm.
That if you watch the end of that game, LeBron looked old and AD looked like an idiot. I mean, what the hell was he doing fouling the guy in the corner when they're up by 3 with 1 second left?
Yeah. And speaking of AD, if you're betting on the Lakers, you got to assume that he's going to stay healthy through the whole series, which is very unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, that means Anthony Davis has to be healthy for almost 2 weeks. I mean,
I don't see that happening.
Even if he forces himself out there, his knees are shot. Like I just think this is a team that's just waiting to get smoked. I'm sure LeBron thinks that he's going to do big things. I don't think they're going to get swept, but I think 5, maybe 6 games, we're done with the Lakers. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, the NFL slow burn draft is coming up, and we're on the clock. We're doing 3 picks this hour, 3 picks the next hour. Be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you at practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to live, laugh, and create memories again with MSC Cruises. Join us on some of the world's most modern and innovative ships. Discover again at our new private island, Ocean Key MSC Marine Reserve, named Best New Cruise Destination. Cruise the Caribbean and Bahamas from Miami or Port Canaveral. Book now with free balcony upgrades and flexible booking changes. Call your travel advisor or visit msccruises.com. Restrictions apply. MSC Cruises, a world of discovery.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball.
Wendy's only makes one kind of breakfast, your new favorite one. How do we do it? With fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, and flaky croissants. You know, the things your old breakfast wasn't doing. So toss that old news and its soggy eggs somewhere useful. And get to Wendy's, where the sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant, and honey butter chicken biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
You're listening to Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com/@BravesCountry.
The Cleveland Browns, who joined the NFL and won the championship in their first year of play. Their creator, Paul Brown, was a master innovator. The fabric of pro football was altered by this man and his team. From sending in plays from the sideline to the invention of the face mask. It was Brown's intention that everything his team did would be ahead of its time. And that meant being the best. Quarterback Otto Graham and a thundering fullback named Marion Motley fueled a string of 10 consecutive division or league titles.
Armchair.
Welcome back. We'll get the draft picks into the chat like we normally do. It takes me a little longer now that we are where we are in the draft. But just to get you caught up, we'll hit the last 4 picks. Yesterday, Seattle was on the clock, and Lucas Van Ness from Iowa went to the Seahawks. Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas, headed to the Chargers. Will Levis, quarterback from Kentucky, went to the Baltimore Ravens. And then Quentin Johnson, wide receiver of the Vikings. Wide receiver TCU went to the Vikings. I got a question for you before we get into this. You've seen the picks as they have gone. Anything shock you?
The one that stood out to me was earlier in the draft, Miles Murphy going as high as he did.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought he was a big need, and I watched him play a lot, and that come from a lot of Detroit Lions writers that I ended up making that choice. Because usually with most of these, I go with the writers that follow the teams, and I don't go with the Todd McShays and whatnot, because 99 times out of 100 they're a little clueless. What did you think of the Titans pick?
They picked Skoronski, right? That's who you had him get him. I like that. I think Paris Johnson's the best tackle in this draft, so with him being off the board, it's a huge need for the Titans. So I think they were kind of needing to pick him.
Now I got to ask you something. Did you see this? It was either Kuiper or McShay at a mock draft a couple of nights ago, and he predicted the Tennessee Titans trading up to the number 3 pick with the Arizona Cardinals to grab. So like this wraps your entire world together. It's the Titans, but you live in the Nashville area. You're a Cardinals fan making a trade, and Tennessee drafting Anthony Richardson.
I have seen that scenario, and I think that could play out. I'm not sure how high the Titans are on Richardson, or if they're ready to take a swing on another quarterback yet. But man, that would be interesting. I think the Cardinals are going to trade down. I've heard that they've spoken with more than 6 teams about possibly trading down, and I'd be shocked if the Titans weren't one of them.
You think the Titans will be one of them?
No, they are. I imagine they're one of the 6 teams we've talked to about trading down.
Gotcha.
So
it's intriguing to me. I still wonder if they'd be better off sitting where they're at and just drafting Hooker, Tennessee, and then knowing that he's probably not going to play much this year. You're still stuck with Tannehill on the roster.
Yeah.
It gives you an entire year. The other thing I wonder is, have they completely given up on Malik Willis? Are you hearing?
Yeah, I don't think confidence is too high with Willis. And, there wasn't too much they had riding on him. I mean, he was a 3rd-round pick. So if it didn't pan out like it hasn't yet, I'm sure they have a backup plan. But with Willis still being back there, I'm not certain that they'll draft a quarterback this year.
That's what I wonder, but at the same token, I think to myself, well, then where are you going? Because if you're not building for the future, this team is not built to win right now.
No, absolutely not. And I think what they end up doing is drafting a tackle. I think they try and get a franchise tackle in place, and then next year, assuming Tannehill doesn't have some career resurgence, I imagine they draft a quarterback.
All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. And the pick I'm doing these. I'm in 3 different mock drafts on 3 different shows. So I get a little confused on who the hell's still available. So bear with me 1 second, as I do want to make sure that all right. So Jacksonville, to me, I just think there's essentially 2 ways that they can go here. And it would be defensive presence, either an edge rusher. But you've seen there's been a big run on edge rushers so far.
Yeah.
Right? In our mock draft. They could use some defensive back help. They could use some offensive line help. So several different ways they could go. One of the things that I want to see, has he been in this draft? I believe he's still there. Let me double check. Yeah. All right.
We might have the same guy we're thinking of.
So Devon Witherspoon is still there, which is a little surprising to me. And Jacksonville, even though I don't even think they have to worry about anyone in their division throwing the ball forward, but to beat Mahomes and company, to get to the next level, they're going to have some good defensive back play. And so I'm going to go with Devon Witherspoon, defensive back out of Illinois. He's a Pro Football Focus ranked number 7 overall. And I just think it's a great fit.
I love that pick. I think that's a good idea to pair him with Tyson Campbell. I think that'd be – I can't guarantee that he'll be elite, but I like Witherspoon. He's one of the best corners in the draft. I think he's probably top 3, so I like that.
And, the other thing is that I'm sure a lot of people have probably forgotten about a little bit. They've got Calvin Ridley coming. So so you don't think they're good. And they just – last year it was Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, and now you're going to have Ridley. So you don't really need any help there.
Mm-hmm.
They franchise tagged Ingram. You don't really need help there. If they don't go that route, I would suspect they would go offensive line.
Yeah.
But if Witherspoon falls all the way down to the 24th pick, I'm going to go with Witherspoon. All right.
I like that. I like it.
So I got you doing the next 2 picks because I try to be fair, and I don't want to – first of all, I don't want to have to do all those picks.
Yeah.
So I got you doing a couple of picks, and then Tones is doing a couple next hour. And you've got the New York Giants at the 25th pick, and then the Dallas Cowboys coming up the 26th pick. I didn't think about the fact at the time when I gave them to you that I gave you 2 division rivals. So you could screw one over or the other by going a different route.
I'm indifferent. Oh, I'm not a big Cowboys guy, but I'm gonna play it fair here. I'm gonna give them who I think they would pick in this situation, who's best for their situation.
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking about the idea that Bijan Robinson could fall to Dallas, or Dallas may trade up. Obviously, in our draft, I took Bijan Robinson with the Chargers because there's so much angst going on with the whole contract situation with Eckler that the Chargers may decide to trade him if a Bijan Robinson falls to him.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine the marketing for Bijan Robinson, who's expected to be a really good pro? For folks who don't watch Texas football, he's a very talented running back. By far the most talented running back coming out of this draft. Bijan Robinson, hook 'em horns in a Dallas Cowboys jersey, and that's the kind of thing that Jerry Jones cares about. Jerry Jones cares about the marketing.
Oh yeah, he would be loving it if he fell to 25. I think it is where they're picking at, but I don't think that happens. I think a team.
No, I think he has to trade up to do it.
Yeah, and I don't think he will. I don't think he'll jump the gun too much and move up to draft another running back because they already have Tony Pollard, who's plenty good. I mean, he's serviceable. He's not a great running back, but I don't think great teams need elite running backs. I'm not.
No,
totally anti-running back here, but it's a very replaceable position.
No, but Jerry Jones cares about the marketing.
He does. He does.
He wouldn't have did the big deal with Pepsi at his stadium. He cares about the marketing, so I'm looking at it as Bijan Robinson. Do you realize Bijan Robinson's got one of the highest NIL deals in all college sports?
Mm-hmm.
This is no joke. Bijan, you can buy Bijan mustard.
Yep.
At your local grocery store. And damn good and well, if you were a Texas fan, you probably would have a thing of Bijan mustard in your house because I know I would. If I was a Texas fan, I'd be like, give me some Bijan, man. Pass the Bijan.
That he had an NIL deal with some car company, right?
Yeah, he's from my understanding, you walk down the airport and go down the street right outside of Dallas, and that's all you see is Bijan's face on everything. I have no idea. I haven't seen interviews, so I have no idea if he's charismatic. If he's charismatic, that's just the cherry on top. Jerry Jones has to make it happen. But anyway, we move on.
I can see it.
Giants.
I can see it. So this is the 24th pick, right?
25th, the Giants.
25th, so 26 is the Cowboys. Okay. With the 25th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, I have the New York Giants selecting Jordan Addison, wide receiver at a USC. I think he's one of the top receivers in this class. And if they want any chance to win with Daniel Jones, who's already a below-average quarterback in my mind, they need to get him weapons. And that involves having some receivers because that receiving core is terrible up in New York.
What is surprising about our draft, because typically when I do these drafts, everyone goes ham. They almost treat it like this is a fantasy football draft, and all the wide receivers, all the running backs, all the quarterbacks just go flying out. I mean, Jordan Addison actually fell pretty far in this draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's one of the top receivers in this class. I don't want to put him at 1 because they did have some concerns with his combine. His 40 time was not what I was hoping to see. But the numbers don't lie. He had a great season at Pitt with Kenny Pickett, too. He was incredible there. Bletnikoff winner. I think he's, in my mind, one of the top receivers in this class. I don't want to call out a specific one as number 1. I think it's between him and Jackson Smith and Jigba. But with the 25th pick, I think that's great pick for him. And he goes to a team that needs receivers.
All right. So, and I'll be honest with you, I was torn between Addison and Quentin Johnson when I drafted for the Vikings. My number one reason for picking Quentin Johnson is because his size and to be able to stretch the field. And you already have a guy that can run the complete route tree in Justin Jefferson. And I was looking at it as the Vikings bringing in a more athletic receiver to play the position that they just lost with Adam Thielen. But I was tempted with Adam.
I like that Johnson pick, though. I think that fits with the Vikings well. I like your logic there.
I don't think people realize how big that kid is. He's 6'4" and can fly.
Yeah.
All right, so the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, and the pick is in. Where are you going?
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle out of Pitt. At the top of my board here for the Cowboys, I had Witherspoon. That was who I was going to look towards because I think they need a good cornerback opposite of Trayvon Diggs. But I still think they get a top 2 defensive tackle in this draft here. Kancey's great. He's a little bit undersized, but we've seen undersized defensive tackles from Pitt do well in the NFL before. Aaron Donald. So I'm happy with this pick here. I think this would be a great fit. Not the most exciting pick for Jerry Jones, but still a great player.
I don't think of undersized when I think of Aaron Donald.
Undersized as in on the shorter side for defensive tackle. He's not a particularly tall guy. He's built, though. I'm not going to argue that.
Man, I think of it just an absolute tank coming at you.
There was a lot of concern, though, coming out of the draft for him about like his arm length and his height and stuff, but he clearly shut that down.
Who are you talking about?
I was talking about Donald, but the same thing said about Kancey, too.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So to recap real quick, Witherspoon goes to the Jaguars, Addison to Southern Cal. And I'm trying to find your Kancey. Kalijah Kancey goes from Pittsburgh, goes to
Dallas
Cowboys. I still think there's a very good chance that they trade up. Just because of what I laid out, man. That is such a Jerry Jones type move.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even thought about it until I heard that podcast today. And the guy that was doing the podcast was actually coming out of Dallas. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, Tones will join us, and we are going to talk about the cool games and continue the mock draft and get you ready for tonight's action. Braves and Royals. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Major League Baseball on Friday. Remember tonight, Braves Country HD will bring you Braves versus Royals. Pitch by pitch, play by play, 8:10 first pitch. We'll have the action pregame 7:30 Eastern. Tonight at 6:40, it's the Phillies at Reds, Walker and Overton head to head. New York Mets are going out west to face the Oakland A's. Kodai Senga and the Ghost Fork versus James Capps and the Oakland A's. Also at 6:40, the Diamondbacks are at the Marlins, Rogers and Bumgarner going head-to-head. Apple TV Plus has the Giants and Tigers at 6:40, and the Angels and Red Sox, Hoke versus Sandoval. 7:05, Guardians at the Nationals, Twins at the Yankees. At 7:07, Rays are in Toronto to face the Bluejays. Orioles begin their 3-game set in Chicago against the White Sox, Wells versus Clevenger. Rangers and Astros at 8:10. The Pirates are at the Cardinals. Brewers and Padres continue tonight. Peralta versus Waka. And the Cubs are out on the left coast to face the Dodgers, Justin Steele and Noah Syndergaard. The Rockies and Mariners, late pitch as well, 10:10 Eastern, Gomber versus Gonzalez. In the association, it's the last of the play-in games. 7 o'clock Eastern on TNT, Bulls versus Heat. Heat trying to stave off elimination. They became the first number 7 seed to lose and face elimination as they do tonight. At 9:30 Eastern, it's the Thunder at the Timberwolves. That game can be seen on ESPN. National Hockey League is getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs, which will begin on Monday. Tonight, they're finishing up the regular season. Avs at Preds at 8, Sabres at Blue Jackets at 7:30. Both are available on the 4-letter plus. The Dallas Mavericks have been fined $750,000 by the NBA for, quote, conduct detrimental to the league after an investigation into the franchise's decision to sit several key players for the April 7th loss that eliminated the team from playoff contention. The NBA commenced an investigation the day after the Mavs rested all-star guard Kyrie Irving, shooting guard Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Christian Wood, Maxi Kebler in the 115-112 loss to the Chicago Bulls. All-star guard Luka Doncic played the first 12 minutes before leaving the game. Before the game, Coach Jason Kidd cited, quote, organizational decision, attributing what happened to the Mavs owner, Mark Cuban, and GM, Nico Harrison. From the league, quote, Dallas Mavericks' decision to restrict key players from fully participating in an elimination game last Friday against Chicago undermined the integrity of the league. The Mavericks' actions failed our fans and our league, unquote, from Joe Dumars, NBA Executive Vice President, Head of Basketball Operations. The Mavs owe a top 10 protected pick to the New York Knicks as the final payment for the Kristaps Porzingis trade made in 2019. The loss to the Bulls broke a tie between the teams for both 10th best odds in the draft lottery. Dallas protected those odds with a season-ending 138-117 loss to San Antonio, a game which Doncic, Irving, and the vast majority of the Mavs' regular rotation did not play. Cuban was fined $600,000 in 2018 for publicly admitting that the Mavericks were tanking. Cuban also admitted that Dallas tanked in 2017, saying after that season on the Dan Patrick Show that the Mavs, quote, did everything possible to lose games, unquote. And the San Francisco Giants have reached a 5-year, $90 million extension with right-handed pitcher Logan Webb. The extension will take him through the 2028 season. In 2022, Webb went 15-9 with a 2.9 ERA, 163 strikeouts, over 192 innings. Webb will make 8 this year, 12 in 25, 23 in 26, and 27, $24 million in 28. The deal buys out 3 free agent years, as Webb had been scheduled to become a free agent after the 2025 season. Philadelphia Phillies' Bryce Harper is working out at first base in an attempt to speed his recovery from Tommy John. Harper, usually an outfielder, approached Phillies president Dave Dombrowski with the idea. Harper, a 2-time NL MVP, was operated on last November, and Philadelphia projects him to return initially as a DH. Last week, Harper began taking on-field batting practice and said in March he could be back by the All-Star break. First baseman Rhys Hoskins will miss the entire season after tearing his ACL during a spring training game. Derek Hall, who started 5 of 6 games at first, had surgery Wednesday to repair a torn ligament in his right thumb and is projected to be sidelined for at least 2 more months. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Newnan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
Triple-decker burn!
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hockey season, and that means new merch over at ourdragonsmerch.com. Get the latest designs and some of our fun new souvenirs ahead of what's sure to be a great hockey season. Celebrate another season of River Dragons hockey by getting a new look to wear on game days, or surprise the big-time sports fan in your life with a new keepsake that will make them a River Dragons fan for life. Order online right now at ourdragonsmerch.com. That's the letter R, dragonsmerch.com. We'll see you at the rink.
Hey, sports fans. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Although edited, tonight's thriller contains suspense and violence, which may be unsuitable. Parental discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Braves Country. Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Drive time. Welcome back. As we await Tones, he's logging in momentarily. I just got a text from him. So, Bobby, we'll go ahead and begin the cool games. We'll go ahead and give you the first dibs. And this week we're just taking one. It's the beginning of the NBA playoffs. The NHL playoffs aren't even on. So I figure we can only go one cool game. You got Major League Baseball, obviously. You know something I'd forgotten about till just now because tomorrow is the 15th. The USFL starts tomorrow.
Huh.
I have no idea where you watch it. Haven't seen a single commercial, but I remember it being the 15th.
Huh.
So I'm gonna look that up because I'm curious. Is that going to be on Big Boy Fox, or are they going to put it on like FS14 or something? Okay. And welcoming in is Mr. Tones Areola as I try to find this information.
Happy Friday, gents.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
USFL and XFL this weekend. What a treat, huh?
2 games on April 15th. The Memphis Showboats and Philadelphia Stars. That's at 4:30. Birmingham Stallions and New Jersey Generals. That's at 7:30. And I have no idea what channel. I don't see it.
They make you work to watch these things.
They make it work. You make you work to even know when it's on. There's no mention of what channel it's on. So whatever, dude. I'm not doing your job for you. I'm done. Oh, here it is. Fox on Saturday. Doubleheader on Saturday of the 2 games I mentioned. Sunday, Michigan and Houston at noon. And then for whatever reason, there's a 3.5-hour break where 6:30 Pittsburgh and New Orleans, and they do not have a station mentioned.
It looks like I'm on Fox Sports, and it says subject to change. But right now, Michigan-Houston is scheduled for NBC, and the Pitt game is FS1, but scheduled to change. That's not a good sign.
What is strange is that it says, I'm on USFL.com or the U. So I don't believe they have an allegiance one way or the other. Why wouldn't you mention the fact that those games are on possibly NBC? There's no mention of either game on Sunday of the day and time. I don't really care because I'm not going to watch it, but it's curious.
Yeah, that is interesting. You would
Curiouser and curiouser, and I still have no idea what. So, what's the deal with the XFL? Is that thing even still being televised? I haven't seen a commercial in weeks.
For real.
I haven't either.
I just seen one, not seen one, but I heard baseball broadcasters talking yesterday about it, and that's the first I've heard of the USFL. So obviously they're not marketing too well this time around, it seems. And they're still playing all their games in the same city. It's like until you branch out and put your teams in the city they belong in.
I think this year they're doing it differently. I know Memphis, they're playing there for some
that's
games.
good at least.
They're playing Memphis and Birmingham this weekend, so there's 4 games but 2 sites.
Yeah.
The following weekend they're playing in Birmingham and Canton, Ohio.
Still makes no sense to me.
They're playing in Birmingham and Memphis and Detroit the following weekend. So they're taking a tour, and I guess they're going to put 2 games on at one in the same city. What's really strange, I just randomly went to week 6. Memphis on Saturday, Memphis on Sunday, Detroit on Saturday, Detroit on Sunday.
That is interesting.
Why would you? I mean, whatever.
Why would you even give the team name cities then? You know,
why would you start your damn league at the beginning of the NBA and NHL playoffs? Why? Why would you? Why would the XFL put their league on at like the worst possible time they could have done it? Let's do it right after the Super Bowl when everybody's burned out on football and no one's ever going to watch our crappy product. Let's do it then. And then USFL goes, hey, that's almost a good idea, but what we're going to do is we're going to wait till the NBA and NHL playoffs, and we're going to make sure that we are playing when you're playing. So if you are a football fan and you're willing to watch junky football, you're now being split up into, are you going to watch this league or that league? Because ain't no one going to watch, 8 games on the weekend of this junk.
Nope. It ain't an NFL Sunday. I guess you could call it a football merger weekend. Not a good one at that.
It looks like all the games are going to be played in a rotation of Birmingham, Memphis, Canton, and Detroit. And they're just going to rotate. Every weekend, you're going to have 2 games in one city. And those are what are they playing? They're playing 10 weeks. Will be done in mid-June. Why wouldn't you finish in mid-June? Because, that's about the time the NBA finals take place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure we go ahead and get that. Let's make sure that it's going head-to-head with Game 7 of the NBA finals.
That's genius.
And then let our playoffs start, and let's make sure our championship game is being played on the 4th of July.
Wait, that's when their championship game is, the 4th of July? Not like people will be doing.
No idea.
It's
not on their website, but if you go out and you assume that there's 4 teams making the playoffs, you would say that that's probably about the case.
Mm-hmm.
You would play the next week on the 25th, and it may not be on the actual 4th of July, but if I play it out 2 weeks, in other words, I'm going to assume only 4 teams are going to make the playoffs, and you'll have a semifinals and a final. If you play that out, and the final game of the season is June 18th, which is a Sunday, then the next weekend would be June 25th, which would be your semifinals, and then the next weekend after that is 4th of July weekend. So you're playing probably on the 2nd, everyone's people unplug anyways.
And nothing like being a lower league and having very little info on your website. That's going to draw in a good crowd.
And I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to assume because the XFL is a disaster as well, that they're playing their championship on Mother's Day.
They're going to have their draft on Father's Day next. Oh, man. Shock the Easter to have preseason.
They'll do like the WNBA, like try to hold their televised draft during Christmas. I saw the other day where WNBA was having like a televised draft. And of course, they tricked the hell out of you. because I don't even remember what I meant to bring it up on the show the next day and I forgot about it. But whatever it was that was across the banner when you clicked on to ESPN or whatever channel it was I clicked on, it did not say WNBA draft, because if it would have said WNBA draft, my remote control is allergic to that kind of stuff, and it would have never went in there. It said something like Sports Center Special or something. So I'm thinking like NFL draft, that kind of thing. Go in there. I got in there just in time with the 4th pick, and they were using during their draft, a WNBA draft, they were using this exact sound. And I was like, come on, man.
That is
the
garbage.
NBA doesn't even I don't even know what the NBA sound is, but it's not that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's garbage, and I'd expect nothing less from the 4-letter network. They're getting more and more terrible with their displays, and even on fantasy. If you have fantasy drafts through ESPN nowadays, they play the same jingle on all of them. So whether it's a real draft, a fantasy draft, ESPN is just getting it all wrong to me.
Mm-hmm. And I got out of there as soon as I saw what it was. I changed, but I'm sure it was, brought to you by Bud Light. I'm sure they had that Dylan guy, whatever his last name is, the Dylan out there, schlepping around Bud Light trying to get you to buy it.
Bud Light, official sponsor, your WNBA draft.
I saw a pretty damn funny video on TikTok the other day, and I don't care what your political affiliation is. This was funny. I've already seen a bunch of these Real Men of Genius where they're talking about, I'm sure everybody's seen them, but they're basically, doing the old spin of the Real Men of Genius, and goes, "This is to you, Mr. Bud Light, marketing director," and they're, making fun of the transgender Bud Light spokesperson. But the one that I saw the other day, they said Real Men of Genius presents Bud Light tries to save their hide, and it go and so it shows the transgender Dylan guy, whatever his last name is, and it says there's only one person that can save us now, and the next thing you know, here comes a picture of Donald Trump coming out of nowhere. If they go to that, I'm just gonna lose it, man. Would that not be the funniest thing in the world? And they showed him dancing, that corny dancing.
The YMCA rolling in the background.
Oh my God. Oh, can you imagine? Because if you've ever seen the interview with the lady that was the Bud Light marketing director that made the decision, if you've ever seen the interview with her, I mean, she's a flat dope, right? And if she found out that to save her hide, they were going to put Donald Trump as a spokesperson, it would, you would have to put her in a loony bin, man. She there's no way she can handle that.
Oh,
I absolutely lost it. I did not expect that. Seeing a lot of things on TikTok that you're like, yeah. I kind of saw that one. I just went, just lost it.
That is too good. And yeah, like you said, 99% of that stuff is, pass. But the 1% you do find is pretty good, funny. So that's good stuff.
I couldn't get that out of my head for like 2 days, man. It's just Real Men of Genius. And the next thing you know, you see him dancing. All right, cool games. Bobby, where are you going with your first cool game of the weekend?
My cool game of the weekend, I have Kings versus Warriors tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. I think this is going to be one of the better series in the playoffs, as I mentioned earlier, and this is going to round out the first night of the NBA playoffs. So I think we're going to get a good one here. I think it'll be a competitive game, and yeah, that's my cool game.
All right. Tampa-Tones, what is your one cool game of the weekend?
I don't know if the hat gives it away, but tonight, 7:00 Eastern, we got you win, you move on, you lose, you go home. We got the Chicago Bulls at the Miami Heat. The Bulls had an epic comeback.
Like to get smoked by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, well, you win to get smoked.
Is this really a cool game? I mean, come on, man.
For me, it is.
I know you're a Bulls fan, but come on.
Yeah, I think it's a cool game. I mean, I think a lot of NBA fans will be interested in this one. Jimmy Butler's going against his former team. The winner does get to play Milwaukee, which isn't fun, but let's remember this. Only a couple years back, Milwaukee almost lost to an 8-seed Orlando Magic in the first round. So they've been proven they could be vulnerable at times. And here the Bulls are. They were one of the favorites coming into the year, had a terrible, disappointing season. Odds are their season ends like the Bucks does. Tampa Bay Bucks, that is. They replicated each other. They were heavy favorites coming into the year, kind of bottomed out, and now they're
You're a cool game tramp is what you are. That's
and now they're backing their way in. But I must say, at day's end, this is a winner-go-home game, so that makes it cool as well. It gives the vibes of the March Madness playing game, and therefore I call it a cool game.
Except for the fact the winner gets to play a 7-game series against probably the best team in the NBA.
Fair, but crazier things have happened. I mean, I'm not expecting the Bulls. I think the Bulls
Who's got a better chance of pulling off the upset? The winner of the early game tonight going and play Milwaukee, or the winner of the late game Thunder Timberwolves going and playing Denver?
That's a dartboard throw, I think.
Really?
I think the Nuggets are more vulnerable than the Bucks are.
I do too.
The only reason why I disagree with that is, to me, because anytime you have I know Giannis is great, don't get me wrong, but when you have a facilitator like Joker on the floor, this guy literally averages a triple-double. You add in those 3-point shooters Denver has. They're a hard team to cover. Now, I agree Milwaukee is deeper. I do think Milwaukee's roster is overall better. There's just something special about this Nuggets team, I feel. But I think you guys are probably right. I'd lean with that one, but I think both are very tough opponents.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go to my cool game. Man, I've been on the fence here if I should stick with. There's not really a baseball matchup that's jumping out at me this weekend. There's a couple of ones that intrigue me, a couple of good pitching matches, but I can't call them cool games per se. So I am going to stick with the NBA and game 1 of the Eastern Conference. What time is that? 6:00 Eastern, Saturday night on ESPN. You got the Knicks versus Cavs. I think that's the game that I'm most excited about as far as the NBA this weekend, because I really do think the Knicks have a puncher's chance of beating the Cavs, and I'm going to have them in some kind of a parlay. I'm thinking crazy, but Bobby's kind of talked me out of it. I'm thinking about parlaying the Knicks and the Kings together.
I like that.
That would be wild.
Series win. I'm not talking about just win game 1.
Yeah, I don't mind that, right? Sabonis has been incredible this year, and I really think he's one of the more underrated players in the NBA. I think Kings have legit chance of pulling off a couple wins, if not a series win.
Well, that's the problem, is you got to go out there and win 4.
Mm-hmm.
What a series! How about Clippers Suns though? I mean, we got some.
So there's no way that the Clippers can win.
No, I think the Suns roll them.
Yeah,
I feel like the Clippers can hang.
I think they might be able to pull out a game. I don't see it going more than 5 games though. I don't think that the Clippers have any shot.
I just think when you got a guy like Kawhi Leonard on your team, hard to rule him
watched
out.
him play since like he won 2019.
Are we sure that Kawhi is going to make it through the whole series? By the way, without having to rest.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like they do save him for times like.
I swear it feels like he hasn't been on TV in 10 years.
No, it sucks.
Is that 2019 that he won the championship in Toronto?
Yeah, it's 2019, I believe. Yeah. Yep.
2020, nobody watched basketball. 2021 came back. Very few of us watched basketball. They didn't make it very far because one of them's always hurt. So this might become the first series that I actually watch with Kawhi Leonard on the court. It feels like it's been a decade.
And he's always, even when he was really good at his best, I feel like he was really never on TV or never talked about. At least the Spurs were on TV a good amount, but I feel like Leonard was still kind of hiding under Tim Duncan at that time just because of, those names, Ginobili, Duncan, Parker. But yeah, I agree. It feels like it's been, if I didn't have Leonard on my fantasy team, I might not have found myself watching the Clippers so much this year.
Very, very tempted to take the Clippers on a series, but like on some kind of a parlay. Because I'm not going to put enough money on it where if they win the series, it's going to be a life changer. But you put them on some kind of a parlay where everything goes herky-jerky. Because this feels like a year that it could happen. Bobby, what is your walk-off, sir?
My walk-off is the real NBA season is finally starting. Enjoy it. Enjoy round one. And, yeah, that's about all I got. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, brother. Great job.
Bobby.
See you next time. When we come back, the NFL draft starts. The NFL mock draft continues, and we are going to be on the clock with 3 picks. Tones got 2. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. Keep it locked in here on 99.1 FM. Hey, sports fans. The Key has a brand new show. Braves Country is coming your way weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Magee and the Armchair quarterbacks. We'll be talking the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball, along with everything important to sports fans in Braves Country. The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the National Football League, and the big sports news of the day. That's Braves Country with Magee and the Armchair quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE, The Key, 99.1 FM, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat-burning mode. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit, hearing, full stop, making lane change, signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Are you an adult? Yeah. And do you have a lot going on in your life? I am so busy. Introducing fantasy football. What's that? Move aside job and relationships. You're now the general manager of a football team, and that takes a lot of time and effort. I really shouldn't be doing this. It's not good for me. With fantasy football, you can spend hours researching useless stats, have your underlying anger issues revealed on Sundays, and Venmo people hundreds of dollars with a football emoji. Well, I'll get that money back when I win the championship. You say that every year. Okay, this year is different. I have been so unlucky in the past. Why would you need to know about world news or how a Roth IRA works when you could know who the Saints wide receiver 3 is? Chris Olave. But I think he'll be the number 1 by the end of the year because Michael Thomas is. Shut up. I used to think fantasy football was fun, but it's not fun anymore. I have a lot riding on this emotionally. Try it today.
Armchair.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia. Welcome back. You got big plans this weekend, Tones?
Yeah, tonight I'm being a couch potato, consuming all things sports, and then tomorrow I am going to Top Golf to celebrate a friend's birthday, and that's about it. How about you, my friend?
Nothing fun. I mean, I get to do 2 games this weekend, so I always look forward to those. But Sunday, it's a memorial that I'm having to cook for is the short of it, without getting into the weeds about it. So that's pretty much going to take up my entire Sunday. So
well, at least they're getting good food.
Yeah, it's more the pain of having to cook it and then lug it across town because it's quite a distance away. And so all that entails with that, but it'll be worth it because the person that's hosting it is a very close family member to us. So it'll be worth it to see them happy, but just kind of dreading, not necessarily the event itself, more dreading giving up your entire Sunday.
Correct.
Because,
Sundays are my favorite day, not during non-football season, to just relax. You're right. Just consume the whole day.
Man, it needs to get warm too, man. I'm getting so sick. We're here in Florida, and it's cool. It's just warm enough to make you think you want to swim, but way too cool for the water to actually get cool. I mean, warm, excuse me.
Yep, it's that time of year. And hey, you're not too far off from sunshine every day when it's not raining, though.
Well, it really ticks me off like right now, because it is sun shining right now. I can see it. I can see my pool from my studio. In fact, the pool just got cleaned this morning, so I can see it sparkling. But I know damn good and well, if I go out there and jump in and all the giblets are going to freaking go up into every orifice, it's going to be freezing beyond belief.
Oh, yeah. You know how that works.
So I'm looking forward to next weekend. I don't think we have anything planned per se. And I'm hoping next Sunday it'll be warm enough to at least stick your legs in there where they don't want to freeze off in the first 10 minutes.
Man, I feel your pain right now. You're looking out that window like a sad puppy looking at a treat that's just out of his reach right now.
It truly is ridiculous. I mean, it's warm enough where the freaking all the little honeysuckles and the bees are flying around, so shouldn't it be warm enough to jump in the pool? What really ticks me off, makes me even more upset about the whole situation. Our puppy, it doesn't stop her. She keeps jumping in the damn pool every time I take her out there. She goes elbow deep in there, gets all kinds of wet. I'm like, you son of a gun.
And then you have to deal with the cleanup.
I want to be in the pool. I don't want to be cleaning up your footprints after you come in.
You get to go in the pool and get cleaned up after. Why can't I live like that?
Yeah, good times. It's all fun and games till next weekend, where I don't think we have anything planned. So I might get, half a case deep and then just go ahead and jump in the pool. Why not?
Not Bud Light, though. Coors Light.
I don't drink either one of those. I never have drank. I've never liked the taste of it. Bud Light is it's not good beer.
I agree with you. I'm a whiskey guy. I'm a bourbon guy.
And I'm not a beer snob by any stretch of the imagination. It's not good beer. Budweiser is fine. But Bud Light, man, there's just something about it. It tastes like somebody's already drank it.
And when it gets all warm and stuff, it's one of the nastiest things to drink, in my opinion. Like I said, give me Hams or give me Keystone, give me Natty.
I can't wait from a month from now when they become a sponsor and we're going,
drink Bud Light.
Here's the Bud Light scoreboard update.
Crack them if you got them.
Your Bud Light right now.
Me and you are going to be on the next set of cans.
The funniest part about that whole thing, too, is the picture they picked to put on the can.
Right.
It is not a very complimentary picture of the Dylan person.
No, it's not. It looks like they picked one. Let's pick one at random.
Someone have a slasher film. That's why I thought it was a joke.
I couldn't agree more. I thought it was at first too, but well, here we are a couple weeks later. Now they're hurting in the pockets a little bit, so
they'll be fine.
Oh, they have enough money to, and by the time June, July hits, that'll be a thing of the past, pretty much. With all the news and stuff we have, things move on quickly in this world nowadays. But
all right. Well, it's about that time for the draft again. It's good. What the heck am I doing here? Oh, too long to explain, but my keyboard had a mind of its own. So what we have now is, if you want to go over the last three picks that took place in the first hour, I'll go ahead and set everything else up. If you can see them in the chat, Tones.
Yes, sir, I could. So in the first hour, we did our annual Braves country mock draft that we've been doing for a couple weeks now. And we had three picks today. The Jaguars the Giants, and the Cowboys. The 24th pick was the Jaguars, and they went with cornerback Devin Witherspoon out of U of I, Illinois. Nice pick there. The Giants had the 25th pick. They went with Jay Addison, wide receiver out of USC. USC has been coming wide receiver university over the past couple of years, seemingly. And then with the 26th pick of the draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Collegiate Cansey, the big D tackle out of Pitt. And that has been the 3 draft picks of today so far.
All right, so I have the 27th pick in the first round, and then Tones is going to take the Bengals and the Saints. And there's a reason why we did that. I'll explain it here in a minute. But let's go ahead and hit the 27th pick. The pick is in for the Buffalo Bills, Bills Mafia, as they're affectionately known. And I think their biggest need, honestly, is they need someone to pair up on the other side of the receiving core to help out, not just Stephon Diggs, but, let's get other guys open. And you need someone who can help Josh Allen move the ball down the field. And I like a guy for that role who's played in that cold weather up there his whole career in college. Mm-hmm. So with the 27th pick, the Buffalo Bills choose 5'9", 182 pounds out of Boston College, Zay Flowers. And I have watched this kid his entire career at BC, watching a lot of ACC football. And the most complimentary thing that I can say about a kid when he's playing on the team you're pulling against, he is a pain in the ass. And I would take him in a heartbeat in a draft.
I think that's a really good pick, and I think the Bills are going to try and continue to build weapons around Josh Allen. They know their window isn't forever. Their defense is pretty set, and to me, they're going to want to give him more tools in the shed. Why not when you have a talent like Josh Allen? I think that'd be a really good pick for the Bills.
All right, so that brings – I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to be the one in charge of drafting the Cincinnati Bengals, since Brian, who watches every day, is usually in the chat, and I see him in the chat now, and I didn't want to get squawked at, so I gave you the pick.
Thank you.
Cincinnati Bengals.
I'll get two.
I wanted to have you go Bills, me go Bengals, and you go Saints, and I said, no, I do not want any of that smoke. You can deal with the backlash of the Cincinnati pick.
Too nice of you.
The Bengals are on the clock.
Brian, I hope you like this one. When I look at the roster of the Cincinnati Bengals, they address the offensive line position. They got enough skill players on offense in the wide receiver position, that is. And their defense is still pretty good, in my opinion, looking at it in totality. The one position they lack, and what Joe Burrow has seemingly been pretty friendly with over the past couple of seasons, has been that tight end position. To me, they look no further than tight end here. They're getting after the quarterback fine. You don't need a pass rusher. They have a couple good young D-backs. So I think they avoid defense in the first round. O-line, they tried to beef up with Orlando Brown. Last year, they added Karras and Kappa, etc. And then they still have Joe Mixon. They got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They still got a heck of a wide Tyler Boyd as well. Their tight end position is lacking. They have Irv Smith and a bag of chips after him right now. I think they're going with the tight end out of Notre Dame. There's two big tight ends. You got Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, but I think they ultimately go with the tight end out of Notre Dame, known as Baby Gronk to many, Michael Mayer. I've watched this kid in person this past season when I went to Notre Dame Cal. He's a really big threat out there. And could you imagine Joe Burrow not only having Boyd, Chase, and Higgins to choose from, but then you sprinkle in a tight end room with Irv Smith and Michael Mayer as well? I think that'd be a home run pick for the Bengals.
So you're going tight end position, and you're going with
Michael Mayer from Notre Dame.
Michael Mayer. Michael Myers. Gotcha.
Michael Myers. Oh, Brian Cook is happy, McGee. I was lucky. He said Meyer would have been my pick, so good job, Tones.
I thought about taking the pick and drafting either a Florida State or a Florida guy just to make Brian really happy.
Come on a Friday. Oh, that would have been classic.
The thing that when it comes to tight ends, and there's nothing against Michael Mayer, when in doubt, I'm drafting the best tight end out of Iowa. They seem like they've got a factory, and once again, this Sam Laporta, he's ranked up there in the top 3. I'm like, when do they not have a top tight end?
Dallas Clark, Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson, the list, George Kittle, it's incredible.
When does Iowa ever move the ball? Like, you're like, how in the hell do they even get these guys? I don't understand it.
That's the weirdest part, right? It's like even Scott Chandler, they get all these tight ends, and then you look back at and it's like, they've had Stanzi throwing him the ball, the kid they had last year who couldn't even throw the ball. It's like, how the heck do these tight ends, pepper themselves to the first round after playing in the Iowa offense for so long?
All right, so we head to the 29th pick in the slow burn Braves Country mock draft, and you are on the clock again with the New Orleans Saints.
When I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints, they need some help. And by that, I mean they need defensive help. They need offensive help. They did just draft or sign Derek Carr. To me, if they didn't get Derek Carr, I really assumed they were going quarterback in this year's draft. I really did, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case at all. They need some help to me, pretty much like I said, all over. They went with wide receiver last year in round 1. I don't think they do that this year. I think that they go with a different position, and I think they're really going to bolster that defense a little bit more. They have 2 pretty good safeties, but Saints are always known to pick the best talent available. That's why I have them selecting Brian Branch from Alabama, the safety here. I think Branch is one of those guys. He could play in the box more while guys like Matthew and Marcus May sit back a little bit. Branch a little undersized, which is a concern for some. That's why, to me, he falls back a little. And the Saints add to that defense that is getting a little older. They had a nice, really young piece here in safety Brian Branch.
I don't think you can go wrong with drafting a defensive player from Alabama.
Right? Them in Georgia nowadays. If you're winning out in the NFL draft nowadays, just pick a defender from Georgia or Bama, seemingly. Georgia's, it'll be interesting to keep tabs this year of who provides more, but I really like the value here for Brian Branch. Again, if they don't sign Carr, I think they surely go quarterback, but now since they gave him so much money, I don't think it's a possibility in round 1, at least.
Yeah, I suspect some point in the draft they're going to try to find Carr some weapons, but I'm with you. I think they'll probably go with the best player available, and Branch is the top-rated safety in this year's draft. So Brian Branch out of Alabama. Michael Mayer goes to the Cincinnati Bengals out of Notre Dame. And before that, Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College, to the Buffalo Bills. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, Tones, and we'll put a bow on this puppy, give you our locks, and look forward to tonight's game. Keep it locked in here on 99.1 FM. We will be back in just a flash here on Braves Country.
That's right.
Hey, Braves Country. Braves Country HD is bringing you Braves Country Baseball. Braves Country comes to you every Tuesday night and Friday night, and 2 bonus games every week. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we'll be bringing you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves. It's free to listen. Please like and subscribe. YouTube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country Baseball, for the fans, by the fans.
It's time to live, laugh, and create memories again with MSC Cruises. Join us on some of the world's most modern and innovative ships. Discover again at our new private island, Ocean Key MSC Marine Reserve, named Best New Cruise Destination. Cruise the Caribbean and Bahamas from Miami or Port Canaveral. Book now with free balcony upgrades and flexible booking changes. Call your travel advisor or visit msccruises.com. Restrictions apply. MSC Cruises, a world of discovery.
Hockey season, and that means new merch over at ourdragonsmerch.com. Get the latest designs and some of our fun new souvenirs ahead of what's sure to be a great hockey season. Celebrate another season of River Dragons hockey by getting a new look to wear on game days, or surprise the big-time sports fan in your life with a new keepsake that will make them a River Dragons fan for life. Order online right now at ourdragonsmerch.com. That's the letter R, dragonsmerch.com. We'll see you at the rink.
I'm sure of it. I hate him. He's drunk. And Vino Veritas.
Jake Woodagis.
Come on, boys. We don't want any trouble in here, not in any language.
That's Latin, doll. Evidently, Mr. Ringo's an educated man. Now I really hate him.
Welcome back. Still no update on Max Fried, so I'm going to assume that he'll take the ball Tuesday. Elder will go out and pitch tomorrow night. And Sunday, Kyle Wright, 99.1 FM, The Key, will have the game here for you. Braves Country Baseball coming your way, 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So it looks like it's going to be Bryce Elder versus Bubic, 4:10 first pitch, 4 o'clock Eastern. And that's going to be my guess because it has not been updated. And unless they mention it in the post-game show tonight, we'll just go with the assumption that Elder is going to take the turn. And the next break in the rotation would be Tuesday. And remember, they've already sent down Dylan Dodson. He's not an option. So I was hoping we'd get Max Fried tomorrow and they would push everyone back one day, but that doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. So there you have that on the Atlanta Braves stuff as Tampa-Tones starts to look out his window and he's measuring up all the snow that's piled up against his window.
Oh man. I will say this for the Braves. I'll be interested when Max Fried gets back. I think he's going to be incredible. He looked sharp in the opener and then got hurt. I think he was one of my picks for a Cy Young finalist this year. I think he's going to be incredibly sharp when he gets
Well, then you got to learn how to say his name. It's Max Fried.
Max Fried. He's on my fantasy team, so he called me and said, call me whatever you want. But for real, I think this guy is a beast, and I think when he comes back, you're really going to see him, pitch his butt off out there.
Yeah, my take is this. I would rather see him have his first game back against the Kansas City offense than against the San Diego offense, and that's why I wanted to see him tomorrow.
That's very fair to me. I mean, yeah, the Kansas City offense opposed to the San Diego offense is night and day different. And Bubic, that'd be a fun little matchup between Fried and Bubic.
And the other thing would be if he did pitch tomorrow, that would put him in line to pitch next Friday when the Astros come a-calling to Truist Park.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's gonna be a fun one.
That'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to see what happens there.
And you've got some. If it plays out the way it is set up right now, you do have some good matchups on that Houston series. Elder versus Brown. If no one's seen Hunter Brown pitch, he's a really good young pitcher. That's the Friday night game. Kyle Wright versus Valdez on Saturday and Sunday. Strider versus Christian Javier. So that should be a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the Braves to win at least 2 in this series. A sweep would be great, but I can never assume that we're going to go out and sweep anybody in Major League Baseball, especially when you're talking about you're on the road.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough one at home. On the road, that's even tougher.
All right, let's get into tonight's action. Start heading towards our locks. You got some Major League Baseball on there. Let's see. Let's take a look at the NBA lines so far. So the Bulls are getting 5? That's what I'm showing over here.
Yes, sir. It keeps fluctuating between 5 and 5.5 by the hour, it seems.
Okay, so they're getting 5. The Bulls are in Miami. The over-under's 209. Man, that seems like a low over. Oklahoma City Thunder and Minnesota, they are getting so it's 228.5, and I just realized what they did with the East. The Bulls and the Heat again? No, the Bulls beat Toronto.
Correct.
Okay, never mind. I wasn't really watching that game. We were doing our game. I got confused for a second. Say, are they having to beat them twice? Okay.
I remember in the bubble they had to have that where you had to beat a team twice. The NBA's changing rules by the week, so forth, anyways. But very interested to see what the Bulls could do tonight.
And then tonight, so the Thunder are getting 5, and that over-under is 228.5.
Wow, those are big discrepancies. One game's 228.5, one game's 209. Those are big NBA discrepancies for over-unders.
Yeah, I don't know if I can tell you why that is. The 228's about on point, and I would honestly be banging the under on that because typically these NBA playoff games are not as highly scored as your regular season affairs. 228's a hard number to get to. But the 209 to me just seems extremely low.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that under, you're on pins and needles the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Because if anyone gets off to a tear and gets hot, you're just throwing your hands up and it's over.
Yeah, for real. For real. You're not lying about any of what you just said.
Are you going with either one of those games for your lock today?
I am not. I know I should, as a Bulls fan, have some faith in it. I am going to throw some dough on the Bulls, but I am not going to go with them as my lock. They've just been too inconsistent this season for me to do so. And although I did capitalize and win on the Bulls money line and the Thunder money line a couple of nights ago, I just don't have enough ambition to make it a lock. I'm going to put dough on both of those again, but I can't make it a lock.
It's just past our 150 rule, minus 150 rule. But when I grabbed it earlier today, it was in the 130. I think it was minus 132 that I got it at. I really like Miami at home against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Rogers versus Bumgarner.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami's going to smoke them.
I agree with that. I was actually looking at that game as well as a potential lock until it cleared the lock territory. I think Miami is going to have their way with them as well.
So what is your lock of the day, sir?
I have in this team, listen, they haven't played good ball. They're 4-9. They're on a 3-game losing streak, heading into this one against a snippy, young, witty Cincinnati team. But I got the Phillies right at minus 150. Right at our max line to win. They got Taijuan Walker at Overton on the mound. That's 6:40 Eastern. Overton got lit up in both of his starts so far this season. Walker not off to the best start this season, but I think this Phillies team turns it around a little bit sooner rather than later, and I think it starts tonight. I like Walker a lot over Overton. Give me the Phillies here. They got to snap this 3-game losing streak, and to me it starts tonight against Cincinnati after losing a heartbreaker to them last night.
I do like the Braves tonight. They're only a minus 125. I figure they're going to get some runs on the board, but I tend to not pick the game that I do, so I'm gonna stay away from that today. The other one that I also really like, but man, at some point they got to lose sometime. But the Rays are a minus 121, and if that isn't tempting against Jose Barrios, who's been an absolute abomination, what is? So let me be the one that jinxes them. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays minus 121 on the money line. It seems really low considering that. I mean, Berrios, he went from being one of the better right-handed starting pitchers in baseball. Remember, Troy made that big trade to get him. Then they gave him that big extension almost immediately. He's got like a 6 ERA. I mean, he's barely finding his way, and everyone, I guess, they think there's just going to be a big deal that Toronto redoing their stadium. But look, that newness is off after a few days. Now they just got to get to work. And Rasmussen, I know he's not a household name, but he's a really good starting pitcher for the Rays.
He's incredible, and they're going to have to lean on him a little bit now. Jeffrey Springs got hurt yesterday. He could be out for a while. Rasmussen came over in that Willie Adames trade with the Milwaukee Brewers, and everyone, these non-baseball fans, let me tell you, everyone is saying how the Brewers fleeced the Rays. I know Adames is a pretty good player, but so is Drew Rasmussen at the end of the day, and they got a couple other relief pitchers in that swap as well. So really an interesting swap there, and I think the Rays and Brewers are both happy. Rasmussen's one heck of a pitcher. 0 ERA with 15 Ks so far this year.
So there's my lock. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Rays, and Tones, you're going with
the Phils.
The Phillies, okay.
And I mean, they're 4-9, but to me, they're going to end up around 500, right? So to me, they get, or maybe not, but I think so. So to me, they're going to win this one. It might not be by a lot. That's why I'm going with the -150 straight up.
Yeah, if nothing else, the way I look at it is they definitely have the better starting pitcher in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I took them on. Actually, speaking of that game, I took Miami and Philadelphia on a parlay this afternoon.
I'm about to do that myself. I hit a nice one yesterday, 2 hockey teams, 3 baseball teams. Might as well test my luck with this one too.
Padres and Mets, I took that on a parlay as well. Kodai Senga, now he's a huge favorite, so that's why I won't take it just by itself because it's just absolutely ridiculous. -240, but dude, he is gonna just absolutely smoke the Oakland Athletics lineup. Their line today is 3 runs. You never see it that low. 3 even, not 3.5. 3 even. You never see it that low.
And for you casual baseball fans out there, their lineup is worldly bad. I mean, you watch it, and it's like Aledmus Diaz and Tony Kemp are like highlight hitters on their team.
Absolutely. All right, we're coming up on it real quick. What's your walk-off, sir?
Walk-off is this. We have River Dragons hockey tonight, but pay attention for the NHL this weekend as well. Playoffs start. Look out for the Lightning. We'll talk about them Monday. Their puck drop doesn't start till Tuesday, but we have playoff action this weekend on the hard ice. I can't wait. And if the Sabres win tonight, they end up tied for a playoff spot. So interested to see what happens here.
Yeah, River Dragons hockey tonight. Air Force Heating and Air pregame is 7:05. Tomorrow, River Dragon hockey again tomorrow night. Before that, 4 o'clock Eastern, Braves Country Baseball coming your way here on the Key. All right, for all the guys and gals behind Braves Country today, I'm Mac Magee. See you tonight, 8 o'clock on Braves Country HD. Tones, see you next week, sir. Enjoy the weekend and good luck to your Bulls.
Thanks, brother.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks on 99.1 FM WQEE, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country comes your way weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Please follow, like, and subscribe today. Armchair Quarterback Radio, your first choice for Southern sports.
Something up with the September, something of the 5th of September. She said a lot that I can't remember, something of the 5th. Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette, please. Can I get another cigarette, please?
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia. Braves Country today. We're talking Southern sports. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE. Braves Country today, Southern sports talk with the voice of Braves Country baseball, Magee. Joined every day from sports analysts from all over Braves Country, talking college football, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and what's trending in the world of sports. Braves Country today. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE.